Welcome to the Billy Ho Forecast Show. Please subscribe and like the video. Remember, the more you share, the bigger we grow. Now, let's go! Hello, Billy Ho here. And today's show is just a special little quick hitter. I'm going to go over my top 5 under 5% owned. And I know people, give out their sleepers and everybody's got some really good takes and whatnot. But I guarantee you stick around in this video, at least one or two of these guys, nobody is going to talk about. So I'm confident that their ownership will hold and may even be closer to that 1% Sons of Anarchy. So I'm going to introduce them first, all in a row. And then we are going to take a deeper dive into each player, and I'll explain why I think they might perform well. So here we go. Start them off. Okay, then. Now that you've seen him, you're thinking, yeah, no way, dude. I ain't playing that guy. His form is bunk. Yeah, he ain't going to get it done this week. I'm not feeling that dude either. And that's cool. I totally understand. We're going to take a look at it, and I'll make a case, and you decide for yourself. So let's get it started. All righty, then. Our first man on the list is one Christian Bezuidenhout. It's the Bezuiden goat. And we all know him as a cut maker. He sometimes has upside. He's hooked me up a few times. But the thing that brought me to him, and of course, he's looking in the neighborhood of sub 5%. He might hit 5. I don't know if people will steam him up or not. He made the cut easily at Wyndham, and then he had a couple of struggles. He had 2 different rounds. You can see he lost nearly 5 strokes off the tee. Well, that was basically 2 rounds of golf. I believe in the second round and the third round, or I'm not sure which 2 it was off the top of my head, but he had 2 really, really bad driving rounds. And for a guy who normally goes back, I mean, he doesn't gain a ton off the tee because he's not long. That's his problem. He is a short knocker, 292. So he has picked up a little distance recently, but he's still a short knocker. But you don't need to be long on this course. Distance is negated. So we're looking at 3.2 at the Honda Florida courses, Arnold Palmer, Valspar, which is a very, very tight fairways. So he's got some pretty good results. Pebble Beach is a birdie fest, so he can go low if he needs to. But the guy is just a wizard around the green and putting, and I think that can carry him even if he's not on his best approach wise. But if he's anywhere near neutral in the ball striking category, he is absolutely going to pay off his price. So that's my first guy. C-BEZ is 7.5K on DraftKings, and I'm estimating him coming in 4 to 5%. He's probably the highest owned guy of these 5 dudes I'm going through. So, and this is actually, I'm not going in order of preference. I'm just going in order of price. So C-BEZ was the highest, 7.5. So we are going to go over here to ROSEY, who is 7.2, 7,200. And he is a guy that I just struggle taking. I rarely ever play him anymore. He used to be absolute cash lock button, #1 stunner, like the year he won the FedEx Cup. He was just so consistent at everything. And you didn't worry about it. You just plug and played him in cash, and he top 10'd every time. and you cast your lineups and you moved on. Now he is really, really erratic. He can get you a fourth. He almost, he was on 59 watch Sunday, if you remember that tournament, 13th at the PGA Championship. Then he comes right back and misses a cut, miscut the Players, which I don't recall which weight he was in. You remember that entire shit show back then. 6th at the Farmers, 12th at RSM, which is a comp. So he's got the skill set requisite. And he he started off 3 over par at the Wyndham, like in the first 3 holes. I think he doubled and he had a bogey and a par, and he was +3 after 3s. And he just grinded and grinded and grinded, and he made that cut. And, he didn't finish strong, 54th, whatever. He lost a little bit putting, and he lost a little bit off the tee, but he was fairly consistent. He just, didn't quite get there, but he's got ball striking numbers recently. He's got approach numbers recently. He's got huge spiked putting. From these volatile guys, huge spike putting, possible huge approach. The guy's good around the green always. Number 2 guy, I'm thinking, and he's all the way down to 7,200 too, which is really, really low price for him. I'm looking at 3 to 5% on him as well. The next guy we'll talk about is also 7,200, and that's Mav McNeely. And everybody's like, oh, good God, look at that. His approach numbers are garbage. Oh, man, he lost 3 at the John Deere. Well, he did finish 8th, which he had a hot fire putter and is around the green. So the short game, he carried him. And that's really not what we're looking for here, right? We're looking for dial it in on approach. I do have a sneaky suspicion, and some other guys have said it, that he plays pretty well on these small greens. So I'm hoping that's maybe a bit of a narrative. But this is what I wanted to show you. He missed the cut at the Rocket Mortgage, and he probably disappointed a lot of people. But if you remember the Rocket Mortgage, we had a distinct wind AM PM advantage. So the guys that went out in the PM got like 15 to 17 mile an hour winds. And actually, let me go back just real quick. Not good in the wind. He doesn't gain nearly as many strokes in the wind. So he went off in that PM crowd and he shot 75, which is 3 over par. But then he came back in the AM the next day and shot 69, 3 under par to finish even, which was 3 off the cut. But, if you shoot 75 on Thursday, you're pretty much, almost dead meat. But that's what I wanted to show you. He lost almost 3 strokes in that afternoon wave on approach, but he came right back and fired a good round in round 2. And he's making cuts at the Genesis, the 3M Traveler, all the way back to Travelers. So that's my case for him. He's going to be probably like 1%, 2%. People are not going to want to play old Maverick McNeely this week. I don't know. Maybe they'll go see the Top Gun movie and they'll get inspired. Plus, not all that on Bermuda. But he is a good putter all around anyway. These flat greens make it easier to putt on. I like McNeely as a low-owned punt, and he could give you massive leverage in your GPPs. Next guy I want to talk about, I was really excited about last week. I mentioned him on the pod. He loves those spongy, soft fairways like Bermuda grass and a little bit of rain, lift clean in place, which is what we might be looking at this week. Araban Lahiri, holla if you hear me. Played him, he T9'd it. Or no, eighth place finish at the Wyndham, and lost 4.5 strokes putting on extremely difficult undulating greens, coming to some more flat, smaller greens that he can putt a little better on. So I'm feeling him. Look at that ball striking, son. 6.8 with the approach and 5-1 off the tee. Man, if he brings half that game, he is going to fire. 3%. I like it. I'll run him back this week. I think he's got he's gained on off the tee going back to all the way to freaking Genesis. where he lost just almost a stroke. But I mean, so he's gaining off the tee, he puts it in the fairway. So he's relatively accurate. He hits it along, he's long enough. Length doesn't matter, but there you go. That's my boy Lahiri. I'll be firing him again. And this other dude, I did point him out just briefly in the preview video. Andrew Putnam. He's on a nice run, low key nice run over the last 2 months, making cuts. He did miss at Memorial, but Charles Schwab, which is a par 70 with narrow fairways, he managed to get her done there. Missed the AT&T Byron Nelson, but that's a wide open bomber's paradise. You get killed there. But he's making cuts down here, and he is 6,600. He climbed up to 11th at the 3M and 27th at the Wyndham. And he is a guy that can get hot fire with the putter. If he can gain 4 to 6 strokes putting, he's in good shape. And he's one of those guys where, like Denny McCarthy, sort of, where he's really, really good putter. And if you can get just even or plus ball striking, you are gravy train. He does have a second place finish here, albeit back in 2018 when it was a much weaker field. It was a cut event. DJ won it, and there wasn't much more than DJ in the field. It was just some average guys. So I can understand the hesitancy, but he came back in the WGC event the following year and scored fairly well. He was a middling 20-ish, but there's like 70 and 90 guys. I forget how many were in that tournament. So he did okay. But that's my fifth guy. So holla holla, Billy Ho. I thought that was pretty good. And I guarantee you people ain't talking to Putnam much. They might mention Lahiri since he had the good finish last week. They may have given up on ROSEY because he went like 8-10% last week and he disappointed once again. But all the way at 7,200, that's cray-cray. C-BEZ 7.5, cut making full. As long as he can hit a few more fairways this time around, he's going to fire. And Matt McNeely is kind of a punt play, but I made my point with the comebacker 69 on that Friday. Maybe he found something. So we're really, really hoping these guys can help you out. If you play them, I'm not telling you to play them because they are highly volatile. They may miss the cut, but you also have to remember there are only about 120, 121 and top 65 and ties make the cut. So better than average, to get up in there. Appreciate you joining me for this little quick snippet. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm up over 150 subscribers. I want 175 is the next little goal. So we just keep cracking them little goals. Shout out to the Discord. Good job, everybody. Always good. There's a few new members. Glad to see them. Hope you all contribute. Don't be afraid to post. We always appreciate new people and new ideas. And until the next video, which I hope is tonight with the Hamburghini, aka the DFS chef David. He's got a gig today and he's 3 hours behind me. So it might be late night creeping if I'm not too busy with the family thing. Billy Ho turned 50 yesterday. Billy Ho's pops turns 83 today. So our birthdays are one day apart. So we're celebrating dad today, getting it done. So until the next video, peace.